Again, thank you so much for doing this with me. So the icebreaker question we've been asking everyone is, what's in your cup?
In my mug, I have Florida's natural orange juice. I like to start my day each day with the orange juice, and I prefer the kind with a little bit of pulp.
I like that. And you have a nice little Florida mug going on there. Very
Thank you.
nice.
Yeah.
So let's get right to it. I think first off, you've had quite the career in legislation. So why continue it? Why go for this Senate seat for the state of Florida?
I'm proud of what we've accomplished in the House during my time that I've been there for the past 8 years. I feel really great that we've been fiscal conservatives. We've balanced our budget every year. We've paid down our debt more than any state in the country in the past 8 years, $8 billion. We've cut taxes by $10 billion, more than any state in the country. And I just think there's more work to do. And so I'm looking forward to going to the Senate, working hard to get our economy reopened, get people back to work, deal with the fallout from this COVID-19 pandemic, and keep fighting for our water quality.
And speaking of water quality, I wanted to ask you a question about that. You have backed quite a few House bills for the mitigation of red tide and blue-green algae. If you do win this seat, what is your plan? What do you think we can do to really help the folks here in Southwest Florida?
Well, we need to continue executing the projects that are in the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Program. So I will continue to support funding those projects. We have the C-43 reservoir under construction now. I will continue to support the funding to get that completed. We've already approved and set aside funding for the southern reservoir. That needs to be completed. For the past 2 years, I've been successful in getting $50 million in the budget to have water storage north of Lake Okeechobee with the wells. We need to continue that. And then the piece we really haven't gotten to yet is we've got to do something about the septic tanks that are along the Caloosahatchee that are leaking into the river. Scientists from FAU have identified that the nutrients that are coming from that are contributing to the problems that we're having with the quality, our water quality here in Lee County. And so I proposed a bill previously that would open up private funds through the PACE program, which is the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program that's currently used for hurricane hardening and for renewable and solar energy. I'd like to expand that and give people access to that market so that they could replace septic tanks. And if we can do that, that will go a long ways when you put that with everything else we're doing to improve our water quality.
And so that's one thing you want to work on, but you also mentioned COVID-19. I
Yeah.
know this is kind of an unprecedented time and we're still navigating it, but how do you feel about Southwest Florida's response to the virus? And what changes do you think we could make moving forward? I know you talked about first off getting people back to work.
Yes. Well, I absolutely believe that Florida's approach has been the correct one. Uh, there's been calls from those in other states and from the left side of the political spectrum to shut everything down again. I absolutely reject that. I don't think that's the way we're going to get through this pandemic. And in fact, if you look in Europe, there was a real case study there. The nation of Sweden never shut anything down. They didn't shut their economy down. They didn't shut their schools down. And if you look at where they are today compared to the European countries that are their neighbors that did shut everything down, they're in a better position than they were. And so I don't think the shutdown is the answer. The answer is to get it reopened. I am an optimist. I absolutely believe we are going to have a vaccine, and I believe we're going to have that vaccine by the end of the year. So the next steps are going to be what role will government play in distributing that vaccine and making sure that everyone who wants access to that vaccine gets access to that vaccine. And that's something I think we're going to have to work on in the next legislative session.
So I told you I was going to keep this really brief. That's really like the basic questions I wanted to ask you. But is there anything that you would like the people who are going to vote here in Southwest Florida to know? Anything? Let me open the floor to you and your final thoughts.
I would just say this, it's been the honor of my life to serve as the state representative for District 76. I've enjoyed every day of the past 8 years representing you in Tallahassee. I feel like I've been true to the values of Southwest Florida, and I think I've been consistent in doing what I promised the voters I would do in my campaigns. If you elect me and send me to Tallahassee to serve in the Florida Senate, my commitment is I will continue to serve in the way that I have served and to be true to those values. And I ask humbly for your vote.
Well, Ray, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. I know we're less than 2 weeks away from the Florida primary, so you're probably a very busy guy
It's
at
a,
the
yes,
moment.
each day's a long one, but it's a good one.